What is up, y'all?
Hey
So,
guys.
a few videos back, we went into a video of an American couple over there driving a manual in the UK, and then the UK is popular to drive manuals. So, this video is going to go into more detail of why you guys choose manuals till this day over an automatic. I'm curious to know because I said, like in America, we don't really drive them. Like, you got people who get sports cars, it's their weekend cars, but as far as like somebody wanting a manual as their daily driver over here, absolutely not. You got a few people that still get them to save gas, but it's just not as popular as it used to be back in like maybe the 80s and 90s where a lot of people had manual transmission cars. Now it's like I don't want to work for it. I don't want to sit here and shift gears. We're going with an automatic. So I'm curious to know why you guys are still driving manuals. But before we dive in, if you're new, hit that subscribe. Well, let's dive in.
I'm in a fairly typical street in the UK. Let's take a look at what people are driving. Here is a Ford Fiesta, and that is a manual.
Not in their car.
Let's take a look at this Mini across the street.
Mini Coupe.
And I did look both ways, although the camera didn't, before across the road that is. And that is also a manual.
Is it
I'm
like that
not
he's in
going to look at this
people's
Fiesta
cars?
because I just looked at that one. So don't need to look at two Fiestas. Let's go and have a look at this Citroen DS.
What I've also noticed is they really don't park in the driveway.
No.
Like there's just like
On the
there's like
street.
a little parking right in front of their house.
Yeah.
That's not the street though.
Off topic, well, not kind of on topic. Mini Cooper, I like the Mini Cooper. I've always been a fan of them, but in America, they have a bad rep as far as like mechanical issues and like just issues that American, and they charge you an arm and a leg to work on them. But I love them. Like they're like cool little cars. Like I always mess with me and my son always mess with her about them. Like, oh, the Mini Cooper, we want one. But America, they just have a bad rep for, I don't know, just like people drive them, but you hear a lot of bad like when mechanical issues happen.
Brie instead. Is that a manual or an automatic?
I wonder you looked at weird if you got out of it.
Also a manual.
Like really?
Now there is a Mercedes C-Class down there. I believe that is automatic because it's the E model, which means it's going to be hybrid. I'm going to have a quick run.
Quick little
just to
jog.
confirm.
Get a little exercise in.
Yes,
Mercedes.
C350E.
So
So
that's
that
a manual or a
is
stick,
going to be
automatic.
an automatic, but
This
this
is
is a
sport.
much more
Or
expensive
I'm sorry,
car,
he said hybrid.
and it's also still fairly young, being 5 years old. Yeah, 5.
Fairly young.
Do your maths, Richard. All petrol and diesel cars need gears. Some change gear automatically for you, and in others you have to change gear manually yourself. All early cars were manual, and the automatic gearbox didn't start to become widely available until the 1930s and 40s, or at least widely available in certain parts of the world. But that's 80 years ago. Why is the manual still so popular today? And in some markets, such as America, the automatic has been the norm for some time now. In fact, in some states, you can actually pass your driving test in an automatic and be allowed to drive a manual.
Yes.
I can only guess this can be allowed because there's so few manuals that it's not a major safety concern. But in the UK, most small, cheap cars are manual. So if people in the UK could pass in an automatic and then drive a manual, we would have somewhere between 500,000 and 700,000 new drivers each year passing in automatics with no manual experience, taking to the road for the first time in their manual. And in a country that has a population of only around 67 million,
Yeah,
that's a
the
lot of
only-
drivers who don't know how to control their car. That could be quite chaotic.
You know, I never thought of that, but I did have a buddy. I remember in high school, we had just freshly graduated. One of my friends was like, "Oh, I'm buying a new car," and he's like, "Oh, come with me, like, just come up there with me really quick." He bought a manual without knowing how to drive one.
Oh.
Like, didn't take it on a test drive because you don't in America. You're not required. Like, they'll ask you like, "Hey, you want to take it on a test drive? Like, to fill it out?" And he was like, "No, no, it's fine." And I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna drive because I definitely didn't know how to drive stick at the time." So I'm like, "You're gonna drive this off the lot?" Well, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna learn them on the go." You are a brave soul in a brand new car. Like, and he stalled out but he made it home and he bought a manual on. I'm like, you are brave as heck to do that. Like, you couldn't talk me into being like, I'm just gonna go buy a manual just because. Absolutely not.
In the UK, the manual gearbox is in decline. In 2010, 20% of new cars sold were automatic. And back then, that was considered a lot. By 2018, 43% of new cars sold were automatic.
They're switching over.
But
They're kind
now,
of like,
nearly 60% of new cars sold in the UK are automatic. So although new drivers are still opting to pass their driving test in a manual, over 90% of driving tests are manual, the automatic is becoming the norm.
because I think it's what it is. It's the daily, like, and I know how your life explained over there is a little slower than us. I think it's just like I don't want to be like at 5 in the morning if you got to get up. I'm not trying to be shifting.
I want to be
gears
able
at
to
five.
drink my drink. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that it's like the tiredness of just like, and it's 5 in the morning. I'm
True.
getting off. I'm not trying to be doing all that. I just
True.
want to get in the drive
True.
and go. But that's probably what it is. They probably got a taste of it, and now they're just like, oh, I'm going automatic. I'm not standing the stick.
So why has it taken so long for the automatic to start to take off in the UK? Well, it's quite simple. Traditional automatics with torque converters were big, heavy and inefficient. That does not bode well with Asian and European cars. In the UK, we primarily use Asian cars and European cars. However, in America, their cars are already big, heavy and inefficient. They have big 5.7 litre V8s,
They do.
which they call a 350 cubic inch, with loads of torque, so having a less efficient gearbox doesn't make as much of a difference. And gasoline, as they call it over there, is much cheaper. So having the convenience of an automatic makes more sense because the negatives aren't as noticeable. However, if you were to put a traditional automatic in, say, something like a 1.1 litre Ford Fiesta
They are pretty
from the
close to that car.
1980s, it's going to drive like you've left the handbrake on. But in the early noughties or 2000s, something
Sounds like you said
started to
noughties.
change. It was out with the traditional torque converter planetary gear automatic and in with the robotized manual. Yes, automatics were no longer really automatics. They were actually a manual, but with a robot changing gear for you. So that got rid of the disadvantage
What
of
the
the
heck?
automatic being less efficient and bigger and heavier. They're almost the same size and same weight. The only disadvantage was the price. Normally it added around £1,000 to £1,500 to the list price of a car, and they worked well in small cars with small engines as well. Therefore, opting to have the extra convenience of the car changing gear for you was no longer such a problem. Well,
There was one thing I was gonna branch off of what he said a little earlier, but they do say manual cars, like in America, I know back they do have more longevity, and like if your car shuts down, you can pop it in and roll it, and you know you're able to
There
pop
is
it in a
pros and
second
cons. There's pros and
and
cons.
take off still without having. So I do know Americans did say that like a manual car, but you can also burn your clutch and transmission faster with a manual car because you're shifting gears so much. But I do remember like people saying that like, oh, it's a gas saver and they last longer because you're controlling the car at that point, like by shifting. But
it was actually convenient. And then the automatic started to become popular. And Japanese manufacturers started to use something called a CVT, which stands for continuously variable transmission. They work well with big engine cars and low-powered small engine cars. The only trouble is how they sound. Many people don't like the fact that it actually sounds like your engine is staying at a constant velocity whenever you put your foot hard on the gas. It kind of goes, and in fact, in one of my videos, I made a mistake of calling it a constant velocity transmission just because I was so used to hearing that constant velocity of the engine. They work well, they are
But-
efficient. If you drive gently, don't worry about it. But if you want to put your foot down, they're not very nice. So the reason why it's taken so long for automatics to become popular in the UK is simply because the technology to make a lightweight, low-powered car, which is most of the cars in the UK, automatic yet still drive in a decent way, has only become widely available recently. But does that mean you shouldn't bother learning manual? You should just learn automatic because all cars are going to be automatic soon. Well, the manual's going to be here for a bit longer than you may think. They're going to be sold up until 2030 minimum, when the petrol and diesel ban comes in, and that ban essentially bans manual. However, that may be delayed. You never know. But let's say the
It
ban
is,
happens in
yeah.
2030. then those cars are still going to be on the road for 10 to 20 years after that.
Yep.
So the manual car will still be popular for quite a while yet. Getting a manual license does give you the freedom to drive whatever car you want. However, of course, learning automatic is easier. But is there another advantage to driving a manual? Or is it all just about the money? It's not just about the money, it's about the experience. If you're brought up around manuals, learned to drive a manual, subsequently got good at driving a manual, and live somewhere where you're not constantly in nose to tail, bumper to bumper traffic,
Then yes, it's
you actually have access to some relatively quiet roads with a half decent speed limit. You may also enjoy driving a manual. It's not guaranteed, of course, not everyone does. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But there are plenty who do. And as a result, the great British country roads, the manual has stayed strong for years. Even though realistically, the economy
they don't gotta move?
I guess not.
and how much people earn in this country means that
think you can go
automatics
around
aren't
them. I think
really
you just-
out of the question.
No, I'm moving.
It is a bit of a choice.
That's weird.
Now, I could be driving down this road in an automatic,
But you're not gonna.
but I know
go
from
fast.
experience I won't be having as much fun. There is a sense of joy from the achievement of achieving the perfect gear change, the downshift rev match, the heel and toe rev match, under braking.
Oh, he's good. He's really good.
Because I don't want to talk about it. Let me show you. I can show you.
And
better,
kissing
I
the
can
red
tell you.
line. Although you can do that in an automatic as well.
Yeah, it's one
Of
line
course.
instead of little lines.
Drive responsibly.
Ah!
And that's part of what makes driving a manual so special. I didn't break the speed limit there, but I enjoyed myself. A very powerful automatic will shoot you up to very high speeds very quickly without you doing much at all, which leads you wanting to enjoy the speed as opposed to the involvement. So therefore, driving a manual enthusiastically allows you to have fun
And be
whilst being
driving.
safe, because there's something else to enjoy. Of course, manuals
good.
aren't
He's
for
good.
everyone. Some
That heel
people
toe thing
just
is crazy.
prefer automatics. I know both. Some people like auto, some people like manual. A lot of people like manual for the same reasons I do, and many people like automatic because, well, it's easier and they're not really enthusiastic about driving. They just want to get from A to B. Whoever you are, doesn't matter. Enjoy your car. Well, I hope this video
Yes.
helps you understand why manuals are still so popular in the UK.
Look, it's blurry. It's not even
If you think it does, please give the video a thumbs up.
so crazy. Growing up, so my parents, they taught us automatic and manual, and it was a good thing because our parents always told us, like, God forbid an emergency, you could drive both. That's what they always told us. But if I'm being honest, I learned how to drive manual, but till this day, I don't remember how. Like, if I was to get in a car right now and it was manual, like, I don't know if I can technically drive it.
Oh yeah, I'm for sure not. I'm
But
for sure stalling
if I'm
out.
being honest, I do believe they should make you do manual and
Oh, yeah.
automatic for testing. Like, I feel like, oh, just pass the test. No, you need to be able to do manual. You need to be doing automatic, because now thinking about it as an adult and just in general, I just feel like that is part of driving. You have to be able to drive any car. Like, not like that, because then you'd be like, oh, diesels and all that extra. No, I do feel that you should have to do both. Like, and I told him, like, when our kids get at that age, I want them to be able to do both.
They might be
Because I
gone.
feel like,
By the time they get up, they might be gone.
no, because then it might just be vintage
They
at
might
that
be
point.
long
It's
gone.
like an old school car, you know?
No, yeah, manuals. Like I said, I in my brain, I feel like I remember.
Yes.
But if I get in there,
No.
probably not.
I'm messing up the clutch.
Like, watching
making
him?
that ugly little sound.
Yeah, watching him, I'm like, yeah, I remember how to do that.
Can you
No,
do it?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't think so no more. I haven't been in a stick. Shoot, I probably can't. My
It's
dad
just
put me in
crazy.
on. I remember, but then I don't.
My dad always drove stick. Like, he always had sticks.
And
But
I
then
had a
my
truck.
mom had, like, so it's like, I don't know. We always had one of each.
My dad had 2 trucks that were stick.
Yeah, my mom had automatic. Well, take that back. We just always had a car, one of each. That's how it was.
Yeah, I gotta remember if I remember. I don't know.
But
No.
I do, like I said, I do see the fun in.
But quad riding and all that, it's like similar. So I mean,
Yeah, you're right. I could do that. I did that. I can. I rode a Banshee and I was able to do the the gears.
Yeah,
so.
but that's dope. That now, like hearing his explanation of it, it makes more sense. Like,
And seeing him.
yeah, like I have known that. A lot of people say
Mhm.
it's just more fun. I just say for me daily, like I would want my project car to be a stick, but I wouldn't want my daily. Cause y'all have the roads, like you said, you have the open roads to do it on a half.
Where us is like you said,
stop
bumper
and
to
go, stop
bumper,
and
red
go.
light. You know.
And I'm not trying to be shifting and stopping and going.
I think the worst thing is like when you're up a hill and it's like kind of you gotta hurry up because like going backwards.
Yeah,
I was
like a lot of people always ask me like my project I got right now. They always say, "Oh, you gonna convert it to stick?" Not this one. I'm not. Maybe another one, but this one I won't do it. But maybe another car I'll convert or even buy it as a stick already. But this one I don't want to do. I want it to be automatic cruiser, top down, and just go with the wind. Let my hair flow in the wind.
Oh my god.
But this is great. Like I said, question though. Like I said, now I think I got my question answered because remember I told you at the beginning of the video the Mini Cooper I like it, but over here in America it doesn't do great. I think what it is now that it makes sense. He said I think they're switching out like parts and emissions to make it standard for like America. Same vice versa for us. We send our cars to y'all converting it to this, like to make it work for you guys. And I think if we got like how you guys probably build the Mini Cooper and keep everything on there, it'll probably be a great car here. But I think America puts the American parts in there and makes it more, whatever you call it, smog efficient, emissions, all that crap. I think that's why the car fails after it hits a certain amount or has mechanical issues because it's not with the parts you guys have in here. And I told you guys in a recent video too, well not recent, but another video when we were when we compared foreigns to like your foreign car or our foreigns over there and your foreigns over here, foreign cars don't do good over here. Like BMW, Mercedes, I guess you could say Mini Cooper can be because it's a foreign. They don't do well. And what I mean by well is once they start getting up at like 50, 60,000 miles on the dash, now you have major issues and nobody wants to work on them or fix them because they're pricey. I think it's because that they take your engineering that you guys created and make it American and it just becomes trash. Or are they just not good cars? Let us know. But I think that's what it is. I think America just puts their parts in there and then it makes it butt cheeks. It's the best way I can explain it. But thank y'all for tuning in. Let us know what y'all thought about this one. See y'all on the next.